last time on Thrill of the Race.
Still Vickers that leads from Danny Kent.
Danny Kent's pushing now.
Danny Kent's gone down! Danny Kent has gone down!
This is no disrespect to anyone that finished behind Ryan Vickers, but in the dry at Brands Hatch, I can't remember the last time I saw someone clear off into the distance.
And he put fastest lap in after fastest lap after fastest lap.
The team have worked so hard the last couple of weeks and I got my bike back.
They were all second best in the end because they got absolutely walloped.
Thruxton Circuit in Hampshire is another one of British motorsport's hallowed pieces of tarmac. Yesterday we saw the dogfight of all dogfights, an incredible 7-rider scrap that is being talked about in the four corners of the world. Luminaries from MotoGP, Formula One and the bigger sporting media are just beginning to realise the spectacle that is Bennetts British Superbikes. Thruxton Circuit, what can we say? There's a really simple ingredient for producing close racing. It's called have a great circuit. This circuit was incepted in its current form in 1968 and not a thing has been done to it in terms of its configuration. 2.356 miles, one of the widest circuits, one of the fastest circuits in the country, let alone Europe and perhaps even the world. And it sets us up incredibly for another set of Thruxton thrillers.
Thruxton, who doesn't love Thruxton? I love this place just because I think you know, and hopefully I'm not jinxing it, that you're going to be dished up something nice and spicy and something pretty cool. There's few greater sights, in my opinion.
You expect the format to kind of unfold in front of you. You know the Yamahas are going to be good. You know that certain riders are going to be good. And when they roll it for free practice one, that's kind of how the day unfolds.
It's just made for racing, made for great racing, and we've just seen, certainly the last few years and most years we've been here, absolutely epic fights for race wins, and I don't think we can expect anything different here this weekend.
Free practice one, Ryan Vickers, you know, he's riding the crest of a wave. Come on, he won the last 3 at Brands Hatch, and if Brands Hatch is your safe spiritual Bennetts British Superbike home where they like to go, well, Thruxton's like a weekend in Ibiza for them. So you've got to look at it. It's completely different. It's a little bit madman out there. They get a bit keen. The riders have to actually rein themselves back, and that's interesting when you speak to them, that they tell you, got to be patient, can't chase the throttle.
You know, one thing that's really key about this place is tyre life, and you've got to get a setting first and foremost where you feel comfortable enough to fight, and then once you've got that setting where you can get a lap time, it's then about saving that tyre but then knowing when to push. And the thing is about this place is they're bike racers, and they all might have a plan in their head as to where they're going to go and when they're going to go, but it all normally just gets thrown up in the air mid-race because someone will go.
But what I did notice in free practice one was how good Ryan Vickers looked on the bike straight away, and he topped the times in free practice one. He looked great. His teammate Kyle Wade was really quick as well, and Danny Kent. All the Yamahas were lined up and they were looking good, looking fast, looking smooth, and that's what you would expect.
Even in the car journey on the way here, I was trying to imagine how the weekend was going to pan out. And I'm thinking Yamahas, and then I'm thinking, O'Halloran on the Kawasaki. Then I'm like, what about the Hondas? And Max Cook on the Kawasaki. And literally everywhere I went, I came up with about 12 different versions of how this weekend would go.
The whole show looked pretty good. Remember last year, Max Cook was very, very strong here in his rookie year on that bike. And Jason, well, we've seen him win at Donington on a track that also offers fast flowing corners where you're using a lot of edge grip and you're trying to squeeze on at certain corners. Well, we saw Jason doing very well today in free practice 1 and free practice 2, but surprisingly his teammate Max pipped him in free practice 2.
Charlie Nesbitt, I've seen a quote where he said that Thruxton's like a big chess match. I mean, it's a little bit more crazy than the chess match. Thruxton's a bit like, you know, Twister after a few spicy shots. I'd have said it's mental round here, but it's great fun to watch.
There were people that didn't deliver them, and that's the big shock. Ryan Vickers, after being so dominant in free practice 1, ended the day 15th overall. He's got to go through Q1.
The tyre allocation this weekend has caught a few riders out. This one, the most notable, I suppose you could say. Ryan Vickers, the winner last time out at Brands Hatch in such supreme fashion, used that softer option in FP1 yesterday morning. but then was caught out. And as ever with BSB, it's so tight at the top. In fact, the top 16 riders yesterday were covered by just under a second.
A second.
Well, let's see what sort of lap Ryan Vickers is going to put in here. A 15.1 set the pace yesterday for DUNCAN. Ryan Vickers comes over the line here and sets a 14.7, and that will do.
I will tell you how quick that is. That is 0.1 outside the lap record standing to Josh Brooks from 19. That's the quickest we've seen all weekend.
So we did the perfect Q1, to be honest. I said to the team I need to do an out lap, fast lap, in lap like Super Bowl. I did a 14.7 straight off the bat, so I was like happy with that.
So the top three go through. It's Vickers then with an outstanding lap at 14.7. What's Glenn Irwin just going to do? We'll get him over the line just quickly. There's Brooks, there's Rollo, there is Glenn Irwin. It's a 15.3. For now, he moves into third.
Such a strange situation with Ducati around Thruxton. And Glenn Irwin looked like he was struggling today, and they'll try and put that right. But let's not, forget last year for PBM was just a write-off. Could be a weekend of damage limitation for Glenn.
And it looks as though the top three are going to stay the same. No one's been able to challenge them as Elliott comes to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, that's because without chucking precious tyres at the job, rear tyres, you're not going to go quicker, and they know that.
We saw Vickers put one of the quickest laps of the weekend in Q1 straight away. The 3-lap run, out lap, hot lap, in lap, 1 minute 14.7. Impressive stuff from Vickers. Right when he needed to do it, he did it and he delivered it. And he sat in the garage very bravely through qualifying 1, took himself into Q2, and then the Osho showed up. We knew he was going to show up. It was the Osho time. It's his track. He is Mr. Thruxton when you think about it.
Qualifying, to be honest, was good, and normally when you make a big change to the bike, it takes you a bit of time to get used to it, but we struggled a bit on Friday yesterday. Thruxton's a bit hard because in practice you use your tyre allocation and you use all of the tyres, so you got no tyre left by the end of practice. So we made a big change to the front of the bike for today, but we had a 15 or 18 lap tyre to test it in FP3 before qualifying. So I literally did 3 laps in FP3, I think it feels better, but who knows until we put some tyres in.
Jason Halloran here is got a good lap that he's put together on the completely motorbikes Kawasaki, and he looks comfortable as well.
Yeah, and that's where I watched a couple of places, but through the chicane where you're going from braking hard, leant over to the... Yeah, look at that.
What a lap.
And then my first flying lap in Q was a 14.6 or whatever it was, so it's pretty hard to commit to that, you've just got to trust that you're doing the right thing and trust that you've made the right changes. And I felt comfortable. I knew we had speed. We had much better speed than yesterday.
Jason O'Halloran looked almost set for that pole position, and then Kyle shows up, Kyle Ride, and Kyle was sensational, wasn't he? Kyle got to the front and he managed to sit there, put that bike exactly how he knows it around Thruxton, and it was good to watch. When you watch Kyle ride at speed, he's mind blowing, he's mesmerising. If that could happen every weekend, week out, and be like that every circuit, Paddock would have a big worry because he's so fast.
Kyle Ride's gone purple through sector 3. Is he about to challenge for pole position? Over the line he does!
Yes, he is.
A 14.592, and he got a handy reference from his teammate there, Ryan Vickers, as well.
Billy's the most undisciplined adult that we have in the grid, in the paddock. Billy McConnell getting third place in qualifying was fabulous. He used his head in qualifying because he got a great toe off the defending reigning champ Tommy Bridewell. I think Tommy knew he was there, but it was so late in the day, the clock was almost at 0. Tommy couldn't back off, he had to keep going, and he towed Billy round.
Tommy Bridewell then, a 10th down in sector 1. He's got just behind him Billy McConnell, another rider who's very strong around this circuit.
Yes, correct, yeah.
Got really lucky there. As I was coming out of pit lane, Tommy Bridewell would come out of pit lane at the same time. So I just jumped straight on the back of him and managed to get a perfect toe and got third, which was fantastic.
Pulled up alongside Tommy Bridewell here on this flying lap as they now get on the brakes though into the club chicane. Bridewell here and McConnell. McConnell could be on course for a front row.
And Billy got one of the best drives I've seen all weekend out of the final chicane. He picked the bike up, loaded it down at the fat part of the tyre, and absolutely opened it towards the line, and it went forward, it never spun.
This is a really good lap from the Aussie. Let's get Bridewell and McConnell over the line. Kyle Ryde at the moment has pole, over the line for Bridewell and McConnell, and it's third for the Australian.
That's good.
Great to see him in the front row of the grid, very deserved. And the smiles there, and you're always going to get a good interview from Billy. He wears his heart on his sleeve, he never hides anything, and he says it himself, throttle discipline, still trying to learn what that is after 15 years of being riding big bikes.
Welcome to Thruxton. It's round 7 of Bennetts BSB for 2024 and the Battle of Britain resumes here, and it's all eyes on this man, Jason O'Halloran, who has won 8 of the last 9 races here at this wonderful circuit. But it's going to be, as James Whittam said earlier, high-speed chess. There's a lot at stake here around this high-speed circuit.
It's the same anyway. I can manage.
You ready for the rewind?
Kyle Ryde put in a stunning lap to get himself pole position, but does qualifying matter? We'll find out later. He's on pole from O'Halloran and McConnell. Brilliant from the Aussie. We're getting ready for action and it's lights out. I mean, that was a rocket start for O'Halloran. It was, I mean, it's borderline. I'm sure they'll be looking at that one again. I mean, that was either, couldn't have been a jump surely, but I mean, it looked unbelievable, that start.
Going into the race, I was confident, but around here, you just don't know, you know, until you do the first 20 lapper, you don't know, and it was a bit spicy on it.
There's O'Halloran that leads from Kyle Ryde, and Leon Haslam is looking racy there on the BMW. He moves up alongside Kyle Ryde, and he's up into second place, is he though? Because Kyle Ryde are going to shut the door on him. Ryde just about hangs on to second. No, he doesn't. He has to back out and allow Haslam through.
We saw one of the strangest Superbike races I think I've ever witnessed, and was it maybe one of the top 3 of all time? Well, it possibly could be.
Oh, there's a technical, I think, there for Charlie Nesbitt. All that momentum through the chicane lost for Kyle Ryde as well, James, because then that allowed Bridewell back through, but Ryde's got back through now on Bridewell into the complex.
The way it materialised, I think there was a 16-bike train. It looked like a Moto3 race at one point. Looked like the safety car was out, but it was invisible. Everybody just following the O-show. Let's follow Jason. He's the Pied Piper. He's the man at the front. He knows what to do around Thruxton.
Here we're going to the chicane again.
Yeah, it's getting busy again, and they're all sort of tripping each other up here, and this is all good news for O'Halloran out front.
You know, I thought Jason O'Halloran had mastered it. There were so many people involved, and as the laps were going down, you could see different people at different stages of races just going, okay, it's time to punch. And they were just swinging, and it was just like a load of people doing windmills at each other.
It's closing up a bit at the front now. Kyle Ryde not too far behind your leader O'Halloran.
It's difficult when you're leading because you set the pace and do 16s, you know, like 16s are pretty comfortable to, when you've done 14s in qualifying, 16s are quite comfy.
And he did. He did 16.2, 16.3, took it up into the high 16s, levelled off at around about a minute 17, and everybody did exactly the same, didn't they?
He's making a move now on Leon Haslam. Brilliant stuff from Christian Idden, and he's now moving up into podium positions. Fantastic then from number 21, and this is all helping him out in the championship, remember. As things stand, he moves up to second, and now he's having a move on Kyle Ryde as well. He's using that Ducati power to great effect. Kyle Ryde, though, lets off his brakes just to try and get hold of second place again.
The first probably 8 to 12 laps was just ticking off, really. Just looking at the pit board to see how many people was there, and there was a lot.
Sit behind, save the rear tyre.
Christian Idden's not doing
that. Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why Kyle is trying to do that, because if you don't attack, sometimes you get attacked.
And Jason O'Halloran's almost willing them to overtake him. He's backed them off again, a 16.7. It's here comes Christian Idden up alongside Kyle Ryde again on the approach to the chicane. Look at Leon Haslam, he's gone through as well. Kyle Ryde loses 2 places on the approach to the chicane. He fights back on Leon Haslam, and this is where he was earlier, just about Nick's third back.
So every time I got past, I tried to pass him straight back till I was only in first, second or third, because I knew if I went back to 5th, 6th, 7th, I'd have to use too much tyre to get back to the front. So tried really hard into the last corner just to keep passing people to make sure I was in second, and yeah, tick the laps off.
Oh, Christian Idden now challenging for the lead. He's got the inside line. He sits up Jason O'Halloran. O'Halloran won't mind that. A 17.4 for O'Halloran on that last lap.
Yeah, and I think what's happening here is I think people understand that Jason's backed off probably a little bit too much. He's bunching up in a massive way. Look, that's everybody together.
Idden had a completely different ball game from everybody else. Christian knew that he really didn't have the pace towards the end once the tyre drop-off happened. So I think Christian's idea, personally, was to get to the front to try and upset some of the guys he was passing and make them use and generate more force through their tyre so the drop-off might come sooner for them.
And that's it, when you've got to come through, run offline, open the throttle earlier than people you're passing, brake a little bit, and look,
already
it's already starting to kick a little bit from the rear, is that Oxford Products Ducati.
You can almost see O'Halloran rubbing his hands together. That's part of his plan that's worked. He's dragging everyone into this, but he's surely got more rubber than everyone else. Here is Billy McConnell in a proper scrap now with Kyle Ryde. He's got the inside line on the approach to Church. He has to back out of that one slightly.
This is why we love
Storm Stacey's coming as well.
Together.
Look at him now. Number 79 just up behind. Leon Haslam. And in a minute, we're going to have about 15 abreast on the approach to the chicane. Kyle Ryde goes back up into second. O'Halloran leads once more. Never mind saving time. We're going to have to save some breath for the latter stages of this one.
Even in the commentary box, to be honest, I felt like we were riders, because we got to about lap 11 and I was thinking, okay, Steve, save the tyres. Save the tyres.
Proper battle here between Kyle Ryde and Christian Hidden. Very good friends off circuit, properly going at it on circuit.
Yeah, do a lot of cycling together, but they need to stop this, because this is playing right into the hands of your leader, Jason O'Halloran, because if you're running offline, you're braking deep, you're getting on the throttle early because you're dicing with somebody, you are using tyre.
Storm Stacey there, number 79, winner at Snetterton now, is up alongside Leon Haslam on the approach to Church Corner. This is a big scrap going on for second, and this is all working out nicely. It looks like O'Halloran is just up the pace.
Stacey, 79 here.
This is brilliant.
Grey bike.
Of course, he won in the wet. This would be one of his best drive performances. He has been fourth before. He dearly loved the podium. Tommy Bridewell is lunging at the background there, and it's getting a bit busy. Vickers there on Billy McConnell as well. There's not enough room for them all to squeeze through the chicane.
The mid-pack of that front leading group was slow through the chicane because of that.
You know, I was back in 12th, whatever position, something like that. I don't know exactly. It was carnage, but I dropped back a long way. But still, I was just like calm, and that was 5 laps to go, you know, and it's quite near the end of the race. But I remember last year that it's the last 3 laps, last 2 laps, last lap, you know, and everybody like gets into some serious knots, and it just, yeah, something hits the fan.
Tommy Bridewell there and Leon Haslam are having a proper scrap for 4th and 5th. Ryan Vickers has kept his powder dry.
One of the best shots I saw in that race is when the camera pans round at the leading group of riders, and every single pit board has got +0, +0, +0, +0, +0, +0, because they're all just on top of each other.
Yeah, that's you never see that. You never see every single signal board out at the same time, all with the same +0 on, because there's no gap between any of them.
And then it all happened, didn't it? It just 4 or 5 laps to go. We're all looking for Vickers. We're looking for Danny Kent, the man who's been the form guy all weekend. And all of a sudden it happened. Vickers would pass 2 people.
We're on lap 17, and we're going to find out who's conserved the tyre the bestest.
We certainly are. Tommy Bridewell will love it if he's on the podium, but he's going to have a fight in his hands, because maybe this is the time when Ryan Vickers shows his cards, because he's pushed through from 5th now up into 2nd. He's been saving his tyre as well.
Yeah, and you know that if anybody's going to have a go, it's him. He's quite prepared to stick his neck on the line here.
Oh, Kyle Ryde is going for it. Oh,
and it
Jason
worked.
O'Halloran, and it worked. And he'll lead over the line to start lap 18 of 20.
Kyle passed me in the last chicane on the left, not on the right. Caught me a little bit off guard, so a good pass from him. But I lost 3 places straight after that on the next couple of corners.
Such a difficult move to do that on. It's difficult if you're coming up to a back marker.
Bridewell, that's coming through, and so is Danny Kent. It looks like Vickers and Danny Kent have just been sitting there waiting to pounce.
And the crowd went wild when Tommy got towards the front. Out the last chicane, you could see all the programmes in the air, lots of clapping. That was a special moment for me as a commentator, but also for Tommy, who would probably see some of that as he's coming through in his peripheral vision.
Bridewell now leads. They're 3 abreast again. Ryde is up there, so is Vickers, but Tommy leads. Not for long. Oh, he does, just through Church Corner on the Honda. The tyres are spinning up. We've seen this story before, and quite often it pans out that Jason O'Halloran is victorious, but he's going to have to work for it as they now come through to the chicane. Kyle Ryde has got so much speed. He will lead over the line to start the penultimate lap. Andy Irwin now is coming into the boxing match as well.
Who else haven't we seen coming through?
Because we've got an epic showdown, and with 3 or 4 laps to go, almost run out of voice, knowing we've got 2 more races the next day. So we're trying to calm ourselves down in the box as well. Just brilliant. It's exactly what you want. It's high speed, high stakes, best possible racing that you could witness. Thruxton delivers again.
It's Kyle Ride that leads from Tommy Bridewell here at Thruxton.
And Danny Kent's come a long way. He's come from a long way back, and he looks like he's got the tyre to do it, you know.
Yeah, and after Brands Hatch, he wants to put right what went wrong. He so dearly wants a race victory. This is a home race for him as well. Let's not forget, and that inside line from Tommy Bridewell. Goodness me. Just shows you all the different lines you can take around Thruxton. And Bridewell, True Church leads. We're going to be starting the final lap shortly, and they're all looking for position. Fantastic stuff. Kyle Ryder's got the speed onto the chicane. It's Tommy Bridewell that leads for now, but it's anyone's guess who's going to come out of the chicane on top. Just about Tommy Bridewell. We're about to start the final lap.
Vickers in a second now.
Vickers second, Kent third, Kyle Ride fourth. There's Jason O'Halloran. He's got work to do here as we start the last lap.
He's not going to do it from there. He's got this wrong.
Chipped myself away and I got right to the front. I come onto the last lap in P2. Perfect. You know, got a little bit of slipstream down into the back. Didn't quite work like that.
So, into turn one, Tommy Bridewell on the brink of a podium in his home race.
But then it turned into a Yamaha race, didn't it? The Yamahas hit the front, and the Yamahas got to the front, and nobody clearly told Billy McConnell that.
But there's so many that want a bit of the action. Billy McConnell is still there as well.
This is a stunning ride from Billy McConnell.
And they're all going through. Danny Kent's third to first. No, they're both deep. Through back. Oh, look at that. The door closed from Bridewell. Oh, this is brilliant stuff. These are proper gladiators.
This is gloves off stuff, this. Look at McConnell.
This is like Donington earlier. Brilliant stuff.
Completely sideways. This might be a podium for McConnell. This is unreal.
Well, you know he's going to leave all out there. They're all going to do that. At the moment, it's Bridewell that leads from Kyle Ride. Then it's McConnell. Kent's there. Vickers there. So is O'Halloran, and so is Andy Irwin.
I come out of Goodwood, I think it was, and in my head I was passing someone at church. As in, I thought if I've got one, I've got two or three. I don't care. I'm going through on someone at church.
Who's going to be on top here? They're going to be 4 and 5 abreast on the approach to the chicane. Through to Church, and they are 3 abreast. Ride's got the inside line, but they've all got the drive.
Going under him.
McConnell's up there. They're all Speedway style again.
Leads.
I didn't know where to look. I think if I had commentated on that last lap 3 or 4 times, we'd say something different, because you'd see something different, and they were all just leaving it all out there, tyres smoking, and it just could have gone any way.
As Billy had one of the greatest last laps you've seen in a long time, got himself to the front, through Church, looked like he had a good run through Church, looks like everything was good, the throttle discipline was there, and they all charged up towards Woodham Hill and the chicane at Thruxton. Then you had to push pause.
This is like a repeat.
McConnell's leading it.
McConnell leads now on the approach to the chicane. Who's winning this one? Look at the speed again. Oh no, big crash. Big crash for Andy Irwin. Ride is going to get it, I'm sure. Danny Kent sits up. Ride goes over the line. It's an OMG Yamaha. 1, 2, and then third for Jason O'Halloran.
I'm just glad I've still got some voice ready for tomorrow, to be honest.
What an unbelievable race, as ever here.
Normally here, like I obviously want to win. I've won a lot of races here. I would have loved to have won that race. I think we had pace to win the race, but I'm happy enough with a podium. You know, like we haven't had many podiums this year, so you got to enjoy it when you can. Soak it up. Be happy with all the guys and girls in the team, and look forward to tomorrow.
We're riding really well. The guys have given me a fantastic bike, and just glad to say I was a part of that race, you know, and we're on the podium, so fantastic. Great work by the Grilling OMG team. Both of us, 1-2, awesome. Well happy.
Well, that's the first time I've been in the battle, in the race. And yeah, it was very, very enjoyable making those manoeuvres. I was laughing in my helmet every time I did it, so I've got to do it again tomorrow, and yeah, make this strong Friday and Saturday into a full weekend.
The race winner for Grilla, OMG Racing Yamaha, Pro.
How you get your tactics right in a race like that, I don't know. But my goodness, does it set us up nicely for a sprint race tomorrow, because you know that they've got to be a bit careful early on to save some tyre, but a sprint race, it's just going to be, you know, get your weapons ready. There's a reason why the circuit layout here has not been changed, because it does stuff like that.
The Osho, yeah, big shame. The Pied Piper. Mr. Thruxton. He's got a lot of names, hasn't he? Unfortunately, he only had a little bit of luck. That morning warm-up crash, it was quite strange. I watched the whole thing happen in slow motion and then kind of saw Jason go down and thought, did that just happen on an outlap to Jason O'Halloran? And it did.
You know, the day started with some sad news that Jason O'Halloran wasn't going to race, which is a real shame because he had the speed yesterday to potentially win, and that way he had a nasty crash in warm-up. So to know he wasn't going to be on the grid was a bit of a shame.
The sun is shining here in the southwest as we get ready for a bumper day at Thruxton. The fans are ready and we are ready. It's the sprint race coming up. And if it's half as good as yesterday, you're in for some brilliant entertainment. Over the years, Thruxton has dished up just about everything you could wish for in a motorcycle race.
Hope you're all having a good time and I hope the racing's enjoyable. Yesterday I gave Brooks in the seat tap. He said he infuriated me so much. You seemed like he was spin up. Yeah, I was well hoping he was going to go off there. Oh, he smoked the bib. Yeah, the seat tap. Just instant anger. I'm going to do it on lap one. Yeah, please do.
It's Cook, Glenn Irwin and Stacey on the front row. Move yourself closer to the edge of your seats and prepare for battle at Thruxton. Cook starts from pole. Glenn Irwin looking to make up for what looks like poor speed around Thruxton, and the lights are out and we are off here in Bennetts BSB as they charge towards turn one. Storm Stacey gets the whole shot there, but can he hold on to it because Glenn Irwin's coming and so is Cook up underneath him into turn two. Max Cook retakes the lead.
We didn't get long into that race before there was some more action, and I mean, the grid was strange as well. It was like completely upside down. The guys that were at the front yesterday were mired back on the grid, and so, you know, it was great to see Max Cook on pole position, but then that big crash for Glenn.
Yeah, this race is going to have a completely different complexion. Most riders electing to run the softer tyre, not all. Some still going for the harder one. Faster lap time should be...
Oh, big outside! Glenn Irwin!
That's Glenn Irwin.
He's gone down in the middle of the circuit. He's lucky to not be collected.
That spat him off to the moon.
And slapped down on the right-hand side hip, I think. And it just looked so... And you know the great thing, credit to all those Superbike racers, he crashed at the front of the pack and went up the road. Everybody missed him.
Yeah. A horrible eyesight. We got a red flag, in fact.
On the first start, I wanted to go, and then it got red flag. So second one, I was gutted because, you know, I did like a 17 flat from a standing start, which is pretty decent. And then you got all that emotion, you got 10 minutes to sit around, then you got to do it again. You got to bring your best again after you've already just done it.
And it's lights out. And a good start from pole for Max Cook. It doesn't look like Storm Stacey's got any trouble, even though Storm Stacey has got the whole shot once more. Max Cook immediately trying to challenge. Josh Brooks has found that hole and he has moved up into the top three. Danny Buchan follows him on the Dow Racing Kawasaki. Then it's Christian Idden, number 21. Billy McConnell's there, so is Danny Kent. Cook leads.
Max Cook took advantage of the situation really, really well. He was riding so good.
And then safety car come up. Are you joking? I just wanted to get going and find my flow.
Oh, Danny could so do with a big result here. He's got a great opportunity from where he was on the grid and immediately being challenged there. Christian Idden and Billy McConnell. There's a big crash here. That's Franco Bourne and Alex Olsen.
Yes, it is.
Storm Stacey in second place. Josh Brooks third. Stacey was in the mixer yesterday. It has
yes,
to be
he
said.
was. Not too far from the end either.
Yeah, safety car again. We've got another safety car as they just treat here Franco Bourne.
And then obviously, you know, there was another incident to the safety car, so it only ended up really 5 proper racing laps.
Safety car is about to pull in and Max Cook will lead them over the line to start lap 5 of 10. This is going to be a proper 5-lap sprint here in Bennetts BSB at Thruxton. On the completely Motorsports Kawasaki, he leads the crew through turn 1.
Yeah, once I got cleared up, it was just all out, to be fair. I just wanted to go. I just didn't want to have any trouble. I just wanted to do my own thing and go.
There we are. Vickers through on his teammate into turn 1, and you've got to make sure that that sticks through there. We're on lap 7 of 10, remember this is a sprint race, and Max Cook is doing a grand job out front as Christian Idden moves up ahead of Storm Stacey, runs in a bit deep, but that's okay. He goes to third. Danny Kent, number 52, desperate to get through on Storm Stacey. Billy McConnell wants in on the action as well, and now you're going to see everyone just get every tool out possible that they have got.
Yeah, one of the only circuits left in the country where slipstream is a massive thing, even on superbikes.
This is going swimmingly, though, for Max Cook, James.
Yes, it is, and it's because they're beating each other up.
They're all beating each other up at the moment. Brooks has got a bit of a gap behind him in second as well. They're all trying to get past Storm Stacey. Christian Idden does go through on Stacey, but Stacey's so late on the brakes, he's not having any of it. Idden just about squeezes through.
Yeah, he's got punted there, though, because I think Danny Kent's through as well. Yeah.
A couple of riders got tripped up. I think that was one of the... yes, it was. It was Kyle Ryde.
Kyle Ryde, it was.
Yeah, he got held up big time there. Lap 8 of 10 in the sprint race, and Max Cook is 6/10 up on Josh Brooks. There will be some anxious faces down there. Look at this huge scrap. Ryan Vickers really is getting his gloves off. He moves up into third. Remember, Vickers is on supreme form.
Yeah.
He did the treble at Brands. He was great yesterday in his race to second.
Vickers could win this, you know.
Ryan Vickers from 15th on the grid just looked excellent. I mean, his moves were clean but ruthless, if that's even possible. You know, none of them were too aggressive, and he just had so much speed. There was no other rider in the 114s in that race. And there was just a certain inevitability about the result once he got through to second.
The penultimate lap of the race starts, and Ryan Vickers is now making his move on Josh Brooks, as we just saw there. That was a great shot of Vickers moving up into second, and now the Jaws music is cued.
Yeah.
It started because Max Cook has ridden brilliantly, but Vickers is clearly, James, has got some pace here.
Absolutely.
I didn't hear any bikes around the whole lap except that complex, except that first chicane. So I went a little bit defensive and I changed my line slightly. And the bike locked up, it backed in quite a lot because I was braking in a different position and I was just fully sideways all the way to the apex.
Got into the lead, so in 3 corners was in the lead, you know, made 2 passes. And because Max made a mistake, that gave me a chance to really put the hammer down. I don't think they had the same pace, and I just pulled the pin, you know, just put the hammer down. Let's go, let's just see what the tie's got. It's either got enough or it hasn't.
There is, already, has Cook made a mistake? Vickers is straight through.
Yeah, that's a mistake from Cook. Absolutely, we didn't see it, did we?
No, we didn't see it, but
that's a mistake from Cook.
Cook has made a mistake and Vickers goes through to take the lead then. Danny Kent has gone through, so Kent's now looking for that podium. Can Cook do anything about Vickers out front?
His form that he's had from Brands Hatch continues. I mean, that's another, especially here, that's not easy to do what he did. He's the first rider this year who's won a race beyond Row 2. That's not happened all year. 4 wins in the last 5 races. You know, he is 58 points down in the championship, but he's now taken 23 points out of Tommy in 5 races. So anything's possible. And he just, more than anything, he just looks so good on the bike and so comfortable.
3 times a winner back at Brands Hatch. Just missed out on the win yesterday. And if he gets through here, it's another one, another 25 points. Trouble for Ridden, but the flag is out. And Vickers wins the sprint race ahead of Max Cook, who picks up his first ever BSB podium. Danny Kent is third, ahead of Brooks and McConnell.
Yeah, race 2 was good. It's just really nice to repay the team with a podium. You know, after the Brands Hatch that we had coming away with just 1 point, you know, I really wanted to repay them with a podium. You know, this weekend it's a difficult weekend for all us riders really, because you know, the tyre life around here, as everyone knows, is really difficult. The team have worked mega. They gave me a great bike, and yeah, so I'm happy with race 2.
It's like a dream come true, but I still don't feel like it's real. It's just unbelievable. It's like a feeling that I've missed out on for like 18 months, and it's something that's come back. The trouble is I don't want to get too giddy because I got to do it again in like an hour's time. So I can't get too carried away. But yeah, it's like a feeling like no other.
Incredible race. Probably my best race of my career, for everything, for racecraft, for speed, and also the end result. So really, really happy with that.
Start this season after his treble at Brands Hatch. He's back on top of the podium as the Prosecco goes out into the crowd. As he hits around the podium down here, gets a slice of the Prosecco with the Brands.
Absolutely over the moon for Max Cook to get his first podium. It felt like he should have been on the podium here last year, and it didn't quite happen for him. And also for Danny, you know, he needed a bit of a boost. He's had a rotten couple of races as Danny. So it was a good boost for him, and nice to see Josh Brooks fighting at the front end again as well. It's where he should be.
It's been a lovely summer's day at Thruxton. Round 7 of Bennetts BSB and the final race of the weekend coming up. But the man on form is Ryan Vickers, 5th in the championship. Yes, 58 points down overall. But he's made up 23 points on Tommy Bridewell in the last 5 races, and he starts from pole. His eyes on the lights, ready for the last race of the weekend at Thruxton, and away we go. Good start from Danny Kent. 2nd on the grid. In fact, both Yamahas got away better than Tommy Bridewell. Into turn 1, Kent gets the whole shot. Few riders running a bit wide through turn 1. Brooks got swallowed up a little bit on the FHO Racing BMW.
Yeah, race 3, Ryan Vickers decided that he wasn't going to do what Jason O'Halloran did in race number 1, which was be the Pied Piper. Follow me, lads, I've got a plan. And everybody had the same plan. So ultimately, we were all going to end up at the last corner in one mass group, and that's never good when you come to the Thruxton chicane.
Another move there, lovely move in fact, from Billy McConnell.
I was going to say, it's Billy McConnell.
The Australian goes through from 3rd to 1st, number 3, and now Bridewell fights back. It's Honda versus Honda with the McCams Yamaha of Danny Kent challenging them as well. And this is actually a little more scrappy for an opening lap than I was expecting to see.
Yes, it is.
Quite competitive and scrappy in the early stages of the race. So it's very difficult to sort of call who was going to be where. Tommy leading at that stage before that weird kind of hiccup into the chicane was an odd thing. But then once Ryan got to the front, you just felt like he was in control.
Still Bridewell that leads.
But remember, it's reasonably easy to go quick early on when you've got a lot of tyre left. You've got to resist doing that because you are taking it out of the tyre.
He might be getting a bit excited though, James. He's
and you know
mixing
what?
it with some big names.
He's a young lad on a pathway bike, and if he wants to run near the front and mix it with some...
big moment there for Bridewell. Oh, is he pulling out? Is the bike stopped? He stopped.
He has.
He's pulled out. Something's gone wrong with the bike, and now he continues. What happened?
I sort of wanted to be in the top 3 this time. I didn't want to drop any further back because it's too hard. So I tried to stick behind Ryan. When Tommy almost had to come together with Tommy in the last chicane, like his throttle didn't work, clipped him luckily on the left-hand side of his bike. If it was on the inside, probably would have flipped us over. So we're lucky there.
Billy hit the back of him, Carl hit the back of him, and then I popped out into P2, you know, from 4. Sat behind Billy for half that lap, and then I just felt like he was having to work a little bit harder than I was for the same pace. So I didn't really want to lead that early on, so I got in the lead, and I thought because Billy's quite hard to pass, maybe he would hold the other guys up from coming with me.
Out front there, look at Lewis Rollo. He's up into 4th place. In the midst of all of this, Ryan Vickers is somehow leading again.
One thing that I've noticed about Ryan is that he's clearly got the speed, he's clearly got the talent. Sometimes you need a bit of luck on your side, but he's very clever, and him and his team are working out some tactics of how to win the races. They're almost imagining how. And in BSB, that might sound quite stupid because it's, you know, every plan just gets thrown up in the air normally when their lights go out in a BSB race, but he's methodically going through everything, and it looked like, you know, at will, he was just going to decide, okay, let's go.
And Vickers is going to try and do something similar to what O'Halloran did yesterday, but maybe make it a bit more calculated. Is he going to back the field up a little, Ryan Vickers, or does he feel like he's got the speed to go?
I was doing 16.1s and then got up to 16.6, 16.4s, and I was comfortable just doing that pace. I see 4 laps to go on my board, and I thought, right, I'm just going to turn it on a little bit. No more on exit, but just, you know, rail speed, mid-corner speed, just up the tempo, you know.
I've got to say, as far as Billy McConnell's riding style goes, this is about as smooth as you'll see, Billy.
Yeah.
He's wrestling that Honda around to try and stay in touch with Vickers. We'll keep an eye on the lap times of the riders just behind this group as well. The gap back to Danny Kent in 3rd was 1.1 seconds.
Because it took he and Billy McConnell away from the pursuing pack behind them. And ultimately then, when Danny Kent did try and bridge that gap, he used a bit more time to try and get there. But still, kudos to Danny Kent for getting that job done, getting himself up there.
Maybe I could have caught that gap a lot quicker, but if I was to do that, then I was going to burn my tyre out completely. So, you know, I was just trying to go a tenth quicker, 2 tenths quicker a lap, just so I can close that gap.
Danny Kent has got so much grip at the moment there in 3rd place. Is he going to have a look? Yes, he is, up the inside of Billy McConnell. Neat, tidy, clean. He's up to P2.
Yeah, that was a clean move. It needs to be, because anything that would have happened between him and Billy McConnell would have given Ryan Vickers a big chance there to just put a bit of distance in. So great move from Danny Kent.
And that 3 laps to go, I was just putting everything together, you know. I put all the speed mid-corner I could. I used all the tyre I had on exit. You know, in a methodical way. I wasn't just, you know, opening the thing and letting it spin. I used my head, but just used as much as I could.
Really good lap from the race leader over the line.
Yeah, 16.1 is a couple of tenths at least quicker than anybody else, and I think this is Ryan Vickers' attempt to get away, and I think this is the plan. This is an impressive performance, and I think this is a very well-planned performance.
Yeah, really well planned at the moment. So far, so good for Ryan Vickers. And oh, that's not though. That was a big slide.
Yeah, when the smoke pouring off as thick as that is a big slide.
Now that might just give Danny Kent some hope, although he's still got some work to do here. We'll start the final lap shortly. Has Ryan Vickers gone a lap too early, or can he keep it together?
Yeah, I think he can. Honestly, I think he's a brave lad, and I don't think that'll have troubled him too much.
I really feel like I got the maximum out of the bike then. And yeah, to lead that many laps and then pull away a little bit at the end and take the win is very, very hard to do here at Thruxton.
The best of the bunch at the moment in Bennetts BSB is Ryan Vickers.
No one could ultimately stay with him. He might have gone a lap too early because on his last lap, you know, he was having some mega moments. The tyre was smoking, and I mean, he nearly threw it into Andover, you know, in the last chicane. And I mean, that would have been pretty bad for him, but still, super control of the race. No one really had an answer. And when you think about Thruxton and the years racing that we've had here, very unusual to see that.
This is another stunning performance. A little bit wide there, backing it in.
Oh, and he almost throws it in the scenery. Is that going to allow Danny Kent to get him on the line? No, somehow just holds on to it, Ryan Vickers.
What?
But his heart was in his mouth.
Oh, ours one.
All right, Vickers.
We come away with the team's first podium, which I'm more than happy with, and next round's Cadwell and home round for the team. So we just want to keep this momentum going. Hopefully we can keep staying in the top 10 and keep proving ourselves at Superbikes.
I feel like I rode really well. Teams worked mega all weekend, and you know, also hats off to Ryan because he rode a great race.
And so incredible. The team have given me an amazing bike. It's credit to them. You know, it's been absolutely faultless, no faults whatsoever, and it's exactly how I want it. You know, and that's hard to get as a Brands and here. A bit disappointed we didn't do the triple. It's definitely on the cards. That first race was just absolutely hectic. The pace was a little bit slower, so there was, you know, 20 people in a group, and it was like, yeah, carnage. So that's a shame, but you know, P2, 2 P1s, great for the championship. We've gained a lot of points this weekend. Credit to the team, and yeah, it's been a hell of a ride.
And Ryan Vickers is on his charge towards the top of the Bennetts SUPERBIKE Championship as we head to the party in the park at CADWELL Park in 2 weeks. Then the Thomas Prosecco out into the crowd and once again.
Yeah, Billy McConnell being on the podium is amazing. Danny Kent's had a really good day. And God, he needed that. I mean, Danny Kent had an absolute stinker back at Brands, not through any fault of his own. And that win, I think, for Danny is coming.
I think Ducati and Honda need to rebound, and they need to take something to Yamaha, because Yamaha are starting to put a bit of dominance in the championship. Look at Brands Hatch, which is the spiritual home of superbikes, and then we look at the Ibiza weekend, which is Thruxton, and Ducati go well at Cadwell Park, and it's Honda's home round. There'll be a big push for Honda to make sure they come out swinging from free practice 1 all the way through to the 3rd Superbike race. Tommy Bidewell will stand on the top step of the podium at Cadwell Park. I'll say that right now, but so will Glenn Irwin.
Once again, everything that start gotta end. So don't waste time, get it in. Why wait? Say it tomorrow, but what you got today. Put them excuses away. Pick up the pace. If you really want it, then you gotta chase. Hey, I need a whole lot.